Great rising. Happy Monday. Welcome to my page, my channel. It's a beautiful Monday, and I hope everybody's having a blissful Monday. I just wanted to come on. Again, don't mind the hair. Mind the business that pays you. I'm just still working it. I just want to get on because I had a very interesting conversation with my father this morning. What people don't know is I'm actually like a preacher's kid. He's like a pastor, preacher, whatever you want to call them. And we was having an in-depth conversation. And if anybody has been watching me or been with me for some time now, you already know I don't follow indoctrinations or being told what to do. But do I have the background? I do come from a religious background. Again, I used to be 7 Days Adventist and such. So it's interesting because this is like a 2-day conversation that we had, and it just keeps giving. So the first time this conversation started was like 2 or 3 days ago. He was asking me if he could ask me a question. And when you know somebody, like you kind of know where they're heading, so you just be like, my response was like, yes, you can ask a question, but I don't know if the question you're asking, like, you're gonna get the answer that you want, type of shit. So, but he continued to ask the question. He asked me, am I single? And I'm just like, yes. And then he asked me, you're turning 30 next year. And I'm like, yes, correct. And he goes, you were right. You didn't give me the answer that I wanted, but, I still got an answer. And I'm just like, yeah. He goes, I guess I can agree with it for now. And this is where the fuckery starts to come in, right? Or, not fuckery, but the sense of like opinion or power over me that parents and society, family gets like messed up in their head. You don't have to agree with nothing that I do. Overstand that. Actually understand that, because you need to get that into your head when it comes to anybody in your life. Like, you don't rule anybody but yourself. So, I had to correct him in his language because you're just not. And I'm like, well, you don't have to agree with it because, 1, you are not my God. And 2, you're not going to be the person that I'm going to be with, choosing to be with for the rest of my life. So your opinion or agreement really don't matter. And he goes, and that is something, I do have to give props to my father, is that he is taking this very well. My responses, like a decent adult, to be honest, which is very surprising because, again, I'm telling you, he's a pastor / preacher or whatever. And so it continued, because of course it continued, because I had to re-educate him, because we had gotten to a very, very big disagreement the last time we spoke. And it was similar to what he was saying now. So basically, I am the only child like my father has with like my mom. So he has his children and like from another marriage, okay? But I am the oldest, and there was a point in time his daughter did not want to go to school, like a university. Mind you, he's in Haiti, so keep that in mind as well. She did not want to go to university, and he chose to call me to express his, I guess, what he didn't like about that, what didn't sit right with him about that. And my response to him was, first of all, as a preacher, because he kind of was like disowning her, and I didn't really fuck with that because you're a parent. Sorry. So my response was, first of all, you don't get to claim me as your only daughter now because I did what I was supposed to. First of all, that was just society telling me what to do, and I was just playing my part. Your daughter is very brilliant to not want to go on and continue with school. But I digress. This was before I was spiritual, mind you. This is like fresh out of college, maybe. Like, this conversation was happening. And I had to let him know that you don't get to make choices for your children. Your children are going to make the decisions that they want to, regardless. Your job is here to just guide them and to make sure they're happy, healthy, and abundant. But if you think every decision your child makes is going to be to make you happy or for you, you're sadly mistaken. And it's wrong, because at the end of the day, you got the choice to make the decisions in your life to be who you want to be. You don't have dominion over anybody else. So that was like a big conversation, because he thought I was saying I'm not his daughter, this, that, and the third. It was more like, you don't get to claim one and not the other just because they did what you wanted them to do or what you planned for them to do. So I digress. So back to the situation. He's like, I agree with it for now. And I'm like, it's not on your time. There's divine timing for a reason. Anything that's going to happen is going to be in my own time and when it's supposed to happen, not a minute before and not a minute after. So again, parents, stop trying to put your opinions or your feelings onto your children. They're not here to live their life for you and what you want and to make you happy. Like, are you okay? That's literally just your job to figure out on your own. But today, the conversation got a little bit deeper, because what happened? He had sent me a Christian song, right? So I don't think he knows that I don't consider myself a Christian anymore. I consider myself spiritual. Because to be a Christian would follow an indoctrination, would just be following what somebody told me to do, and whatever. Not to say the Bible, a book, just like many other books, have some jewels in it, but again, it was still written by man. So hence the manipulation, hence maybe not the whole truth, maybe part of the truth, some of the truth. Like, the whole message is not just given straight out. It is for you to look deeper, read between the lines, and learn from. That is what it's about. Like, read between the lines. Don't take it for literal. So that happened. Unless I told him I'm spiritual, I'm not Christian anymore, and he respect that. Sure. And he respect that. So, which I was like really shocked in. I didn't expect him to just take it that easy. But then we got deeper into the conversation, and he even says religion separates us, right? And I'm just like, boom, there you go. Because there was a lot of things that I was saying, and I'm just like, because he was referring to the Bible, and I'm just like, the Bible doesn't always make sense, right? The Bible is contradictory, right? Like, that sometimes it's saying one thing, and then the other time it's saying something else. Hey. Wait. Hey. I'll do it. Sorry. So he took very well But then it got into a whole conversation about, like, do you know God and all these things. And I'm just like, well, God is within me, not something outside of me. That's what religion does, is constantly has you going outside of yourself, or to look for a savior, or to deem that, like, there's something more powerful than you. Like, is God bigger than you? Absolutely, because we're just a little bit of that. The universe, the galaxy, God is all around us. So when he be like, have you met God? I'm like, yes, I met myself. You should be able to see God in yourself, see God in others, see God in everything. Because, and then mind you, he sent me the proverb, God is within you, so whatever, should give him praise. So okay, if God isn't with me, so I should praise myself. I should what? Then help praise others, help praise the sun, praise nature, praise everything, because we are all God. We are all one consciousness at the end of the day, just as expressing ourselves in many other versions to get to know ourselves more. Because you are not the same person you were a year ago, 10 years ago, fucking even maybe a day ago. So he kept on saying the things that I was bringing up was reasonings, not faith. And this is back to, I guess, the main point of what I'm coming on here for, which is connection. Y'all have a tendency to want to separate things. Meaning, for example, you have science, but you want to separate that from God. They are one in the same. You want to be like faith and knowledge is like one in the same, because the faith is you knowing, right? Because y'all can say God, right? But can you necessarily prove that there's a God? Sometimes, maybe, but it's a knowing that makes you know that God exists, and faith, and to have faith. Faith is a knowing. It's just like, hello, knowledge is to know. So how can you know God and then question faith as if that's not the reasoning? Everything he was saying, he was like separating what I was saying. And I'm just like, you're missing the point, because the whole point was to show you that God connects everything. We are all supposed to connect. We're all building this network. And every time you guys trying to separate, it just destroys. You're creating separation, you're creating destruction, you're creating a us versus them kind of situation, when it was always us, it was always you. We're all connected. You're connected to the sun, you're connected to the grass, you're connected to the dirt, you're connected to the food. You guys are all connected because all of you were created by God. So each time you're separating and trying to separating and put it over here, put it over there, or it's this, not that, y'all missing the point every time. And that's how you overlook things. And that's how you're not seeing the destruction. You're not seeing the lack when there should be abundance, like each and every time. So please stop separating things. When you try to be like, oh, it's this, not that, how about you try to find out how this connects with that? Because I'm pretty sure you can find a connection amongst the two. It doesn't matter what it is. Our job was literally to build connections, but we're always, instead of building connections, we're always trying to compare, we're always trying to compete. And it's just like, instead of the competing, where's the compassion? You know what I mean? Instead of the the separating, where's the community? Like, you know what I mean? Like, communication is a uni coming together, like multiple coming into one to have an understanding. Because imagine if there was See, I don't like religion, but imagine if there was like one religion that we could agree upon where everybody is treated with love and respect and unity and all of that. That is better than you trying to be like, oh, I think I'm better than that person, or I think I'm better than that, or I know something that you don't. When we should be sharing these things. But the biggest thing for him was that he told me that was hilarious was just like, Cassandra, like, yeah, you're intelligent, but like the intelligence could kill you. I'm like, no. If you say that about intelligence, then the ignorance can kill you. Like, it has to make sense every time. And it was so funny in the communication that we were having, because I felt like I was just repeating myself over and over again, because again, I was able to find the connection amongst everything that I was saying, while he was in the process of separating anything to try to reason with what I was saying, or actually reason with what he was saying, because what I was saying was making perfect sense, but he was like constantly trying to reason whatever he was saying to make it make sense, and it didn't make sense at all. But that's why I told him it was okay too, because guess what? We come into this world to deal with contrast and polarity. Imagine if everybody just thought the same. That would be boring. You need contrast. That's how you're able to open your mind and be open-minded, to not look at something as if it's just one way, because there is not one way just to do something. How many ways is there to get to 5? How many ways is it to get to 9? How many ways is it to make something? There's so many different ways to get to the same point. So you need contrast to be able to see all those perspectives and be open to it. Okay? That's why I'm saying to people, like, don't like personalize all these things that you come across, or all this information that you come across. Just observe it and be open to it, to learn from it. What is your takeaway? Because every time you try to like stay towards one and not the other, you find yourself getting lost or being inconsistent, and you're not finding the balance in it all. But yeah, if my message for today is create more connections and less separation. Because if you can create the connections, you can see the bigger picture each and every time. Like, you can go in and go out, and it'll still look the same. But yeah, that's my tech talk for today. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Or DM, comment your thoughts, questions. And I'll see you guys next time.